Welcome, welcome, welcome to a very special edition of the Three Down Nation podcast. I'm JC Abbott, and I don't say that intro lightly today because I'm joined by BC Lions owner Amar Doman. Thanks for joining us, Amar.
Hey, great to be on here.
Hope springs eternal at the start of a new season, and that is certainly true on the West Coast after the Lions came so close to reaching a Grey Cup last year. I know a lot of people have them as favorites to reach the Grey Cup this year. How much does last year's West Final loss to Saskatchewan still eat at you?
Yeah, a little bit, but time heals all wounds, and in life and business and sports, no rear view mirror, go forward, and let's work on this season and build on what we did last year. We were very close, and I know it was painful for some of the players and everyone involved on our side. We were that close, but at the same time, you got to give Saskatchewan their credit. They did a great job, took care of business when they needed to, and finished the job in the Grey Cup. So good on them. And hey, let's start, fresh and clean here and get after it.
I bring up that loss because you ruffled a few feathers in the aftermath of the game when you indicated on social media that maybe you didn't believe that Tommy Neal's deciding touchdown was actually a catch. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, do you still feel that way, Amar?
Yeah, 100%.
Has
But
anyone from the league or the Riders talked to you about that?
yeah, there's been some chatter about it, but it's game time. The game's the game, and it shouldn't come down to one play. It's just I always like to see calls go the correct way, especially when they're reviewed. And I think that the league's doing a much better job even than years ago on the reviews. So all being said, let's move on.
For sure. I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of support from BC Lions fans on that aspect. They're very passionate about their team, and they're very passionate about you as the leader of this team. You've got a reputation for going the extra mile when it comes to the BC Lions, whether that's the kickoff concert series, whether that's going over the salary cap in 2024, or erecting the temporary facility in Kelowna where they're going to play 2 games this year. Why have you been so willing to stick your neck out and spend as compared to some other owners?
Well, number one, the love for the CFL, runs very, very deep here. So, what we bring to the table out here in BC, we think and hope, translates and moves into other markets as well, where people invest. And it's like any other business as well. When you invest in it, good things happen. If you take money out all the time, bad things happen, I believe. And we believe in our community here. We believe in youth sport, and really, we've helped revitalize such a beautiful brand here in BC, and the fans are building year after year. It doesn't come overnight. There's a lot of competitiveness in our market here for eyeballs, for sports. Kids have the phones today. There's all sorts of different things, but we're working hard at it here and starting at the ground level. And the fans are showing up, and we're not going to go away. We're just so excited about the BC Lions and what's been happening out here, and those investments have been paying off. And we also love our football club, so our management team's just first class here.
When it comes to those 2 games in Kelowna, um, it's a massive undertaking to be able to take a CFL team there. How much is that costing you personally and costing the BC Lions to be forced out because of the FIFA World Cup?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about numbers, but certainly there's a cost involved for sure. We believe that we're going to spread the brand very, very well in Kelowna, and we wanted to keep the team in BC and not go to a different CFL stadium. We just think that is doing the right thing here, and putting it in the center of the province, or sort of the lower kind of part of the province, but lower center, I should say. That area is fantastic, and for us to put in 2, regular season games there, the excitement that's already building, JC, is very cool.
Mhm.
So, the vibe, the college field, it's gonna be really, really special. We're gonna be playing on natural grass, the whole thing. It's gonna be great.
Your latest investment in the club is the renovation of the team's practice facility, which was officially unveiled on Monday. You've been vocal about your desire to see the team in an entirely new facility in the near future, be that in Surrey or elsewhere. But you made this investment anyway, understanding that it might only be temporary. Why did you feel that was necessary?
A couple of reasons. It's a tired facility. My players deserve better. And, frankly, we were looking at all sorts of other options. We were coming close. And, these are multi-million dollar decisions. So, when you try to, get something going, it doesn't happen. We tried different districts. We've tried all over the place. It's hard to get the right fit. To move because eventually that area will be developed. There's being surrounded by condos now, and I think out there, there's a plan now and an approval for a 10,000 seat arena,
Mm.
for different venues, I guess. That goes right over where we are. Having said that, I said, "I just cannot do this any longer." I said, "We just cannot have our players, they need something fresh and new." So we poured a lot of money into that and, are really making it a first-class facility. We're doing the best we can out there. It looks sharp, and, the gym's nice. We got a massive tented gym. The players seem to really like that, and, that's where we are today. Long term, we'll be somewhere else, and we want to invest in a first-class facility, when that option comes up, and, I wanna make something special for the BC Lions long term.
Do you have a timeline for when that facility might come about and a location in mind right now?
We're trying all over the place, and, we've got a lot of live discussions happening. It's hard to get the right field and then a permit, and there's just a lot of complications. The Lower Mainland is so crowded. That's why there's no new stadium here, right?
Mm.
It's there. Where do you put it? Whitecaps, same issue. We need a right-sized stadium. The problem is there's no land, and there's no land available for it. So it's just very difficult, Lower Mainland of BC to do a lot of things that require space.
Mm. On the other side of things, I understand the team is very close to reaching a new lease agreement with BC Place. We've heard a lot about that stadium in recent weeks because of the Vancouver Whitecaps situation, and Pavco and the government have been very willing to do whatever it takes to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver. Are you expecting that the Lions will be receiving a similar offer in terms of some of the financial incentives that they've been offering to the Whitecaps?
Yeah, we hope so, and we tend to negotiate, a little bit more quietly. So we're deep into our negotiations. We don't see any issues with BC Place, and they've been great with us over the years since we've got involved. And they're doing the best they can with certain things. And being a crown corporation, there's certain things they can do, certain things they can't do. We understand that it's owned by the taxpayers. It's just a difficult situation for a private business like ours to be in there and not enjoy other revenue sources, like concessions and parking and different things like that. So it's a tough arrangement. It's been there a long time. We're doing the best we can in the arrangement, and what I really like is what has happened in BC Place, and if you haven't seen it, JC, for the World
Mm.
Cup, I mean, the 200 million that's gone in there is very visible. The concourses and these areas, there's a great zone to run through for the players, much like Dallas, when they come out to the field. So, we really like the new and improved BC Place. So we're going to be really excited when we go in there in late July for, I think it's week 8, where we come home to play here. So it's looking sharp, looking good, and we'll end up with the best arrangement we can. And I want to thank Pavco. They've been working well with us.
If you are able to make revenue from concession or parking or even naming rights potentially under a new lease agreement, how impactful would that be for the BC Lions bottom line?
Game changer, JC. It'd be a game changer overnight. And, we're doing a lot of investment, and it would be nice to have some of those revenues and margins from those opportunities, like virtually every other sports team. And us in the Whitecaps, it's been difficult, and I think that's been public for a long time. It's tough, and they've got their costs and they've got their problems in BC Place they have to deal with, and again, it's just a tough arrangement. If there was, somewhere where there was a magic wand where we could do something somewhere else, I think everyone would be happier. But and it's just too big for us too. You put in 30,000, it still looks empty. That's a good crowd for the CFL.
Mm. It's often been said that there's only two of the CFL's nine franchises that are profitable, referring to Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. I know you've got done a ton of work on that front since taking over the BC Lions, and you're reticent to talk about numbers, which I understand, but how close are the Lions to reaching the benchmark of profitability?
I think you could look at profitabilities on all the clubs, and what gets put into a private company and what doesn't can vary wildly due to tax reasons. So when you read 2 out of 7, who knows exactly what those true numbers are. A lot of things happen for tax reasons and things like that. So, for our standpoint, we're happy. We're trending in the right way, and we'll just continue to build on what we had started. Now coming on 5 years ago. So we're on track.
On a related note, the CFL announced a massive new TV deal last week, with some reports have valued at close to $500 million over its 6-year duration. How impactful will that deal be to moving all 9 clubs towards profitability?
Yeah, I think it's very impactful for the CFL, the confidence in the CFL, not only with TSN but DAZN, moving forward. And you get some people saying, "Oh, now we're going to have to pay for a game." Well, you're paying for a game anyway if you subscribe to TSN. Some people I just don't understand, but everybody's on subscription now. We're moving forward. I think it's very, very monumental for the CFL. The confidence that's been shown here on a massive deal like that is just excellent for all owners in the league and in the stability of the league. So, hey, 3 down nation, you're not going anywhere for a long time. So this is very good. And Stuart did a hell of a job negotiating that. That's his world. And he knows everybody in that game, and it was negotiated fairly on both sides, and everybody left happy. And I think that's the sign of a good negotiation.
You've been a huge advocate for streaming in the CFL in the past. You've talked about it multiple times. What was it about DAZN that was so attractive to make them the streaming partner for the league?
They're the international streaming service of choice, right? They have put billions, not millions, into this stuff. They do the NFL, they do all the leagues, and having the CFL on their platform, we're now on an international platform. So we can reach anybody, anywhere, expats that want to watch the games around the world, they'll subscribe in. A lot of people are subscribed to DAZN anyway, and now you've got CFL popping up along with virtually every other league is on there. That's the platform to be on, and we're on it starting next year. So I got to give Stu credit. That was a big coup to get on to Zone. That's the way of the future. It's not about us guys. It's kids coming up and what they watch and how they watch it. And that's who we want to keep the CFL relevant for the next 50, 75 years.
You first took control of the Lions in August of 2021. A lot has changed in the CFL since then, including new owners coming in, a new commissioner, structural rule changes, new playoff format. How would you describe your feelings about the league now compared to when you were first approaching it as a prospective owner?
I would say it's never been in better shape. Number one, the ownership level is, let's just say it's at a different level than it was.
Mm.
There is deep pockets behind every team, and obviously two are community owned. Uh, those are very well run and have great balance sheets and a lot of cash, and the whole system is in good shape. So from that standpoint, number one, it's come a long way in 5 years. I think not that it was broken, but it was a little shakier. It's solid as hell now, and that is excellent. Everybody shows up at the governor's meetings. Everybody's involved. Randy did a great job. I think Stuart has taken us to a different level, and is making some tough changes that we all know about. And we're going to see how those go. And I think the most important thing is we have someone running the business which isn't afraid to make changes. Because if you don't make changes, you die. And I don't care what business you're in. This is the entertainment business. We have to make some changes. Stuart's making those changes. We're all behind him. And really, that's been the biggest difference, I think, in the last year. A
Mhm.
lot of different things have happened. The ownership level stabilized, and now we've got, different things happening. And now the big broadcast deal. Check, check, check. We're on track.
You've mentioned Commissioner Stuart Johnston a few times now. Um, what was it about him that made him such an attractive hire for the Board of Governors?
Well, poor guy's taken a lot of abuse, but that comes with a role. His passion for the CFL is second to none. He loves Canadian football and his history in it, and obviously his time with TSN, the broadcast industry, the broadcast world. He's so well connected. He knows everybody in every league, every commissioner, every president. He is connected and he is up to speed. He is not someone that is out of touch. This guy is in touch, hence the changes. And I've got to say, we've all been pretty impressed by how quickly these changes have come in. We've endorsed them, and we're excited to, some are creeping in now, and some will come in 2027. We all know all the moaning and groaning that comes on when you, like I think I said in another interview, that the body hasn't had any surgery in a long time, and you show up with a scalpel, and everybody's freaking out. But let's give everything a chance here, and I really believe that things don't work out, and it's terrible. They can make changes back, but things like the goalposts are just no brainers and should have been done years ago, frankly. And now we've got, support, and we've got a commissioner that's driving these changes that are going to be good for our league for the long term, and we all believe in that. So some fans aren't going to agree with that. That's the way life goes. But this CFL is going to move forward on the strategy that's been put in place without any hesitation.
What were those meetings like when Stuart Johnston first proposed the structural rule changes? Was there reticence on behalf of the Board of Governors, or was it instant support?
No, you know what? I don't want to speak for other governors. Everyone, has their own opinion. Those are closed door meetings. But I can tell you, the results as have been disclosed publicly, 9-0 on everything.
It seems like Johnston has been given a broader mandate or a more powerful mandate than some commissioners in the past to make some of these changes and be bold with his decisions. Was that intentional on the part of the Board of Governors to say, hey, make this league what it can be?
I think it was really, what do you think? And I think, when different commissioners and potential commissioners were being interviewed, we wanted to see what the vision was before we hired someone. So the vetting process has already been done. It wasn't come in day one and there's the ideas. We sort of knew where we were headed and what we wanted to do as a league. And, Stuart kind of galvanized all of those things and was the chosen one and really has delivered immediately. And of course, the broadcast deal for our future was critical. And we needed someone that could really, in this changing environment of media, that we all know about that's very difficult to navigate and be profitable in. It's changing by the minute. We needed someone there to hold our hand very, very firmly and also talk about younger eyeballs, different playoff formats, all these different things that all the other leagues are doing. And then we tend to do something in this league and everybody freaks out. Well, every other league does this yearly and they're doing very well. So I'm excited with Stu and so are the whole board of governors.
When it comes to the playoff format change, how impactful do you imagine the addition of new playoff games being to the bottom lines of all the franchises, but in particular the BC Lions?
A couple things. It adds a couple of games into the format. I think it also makes it exciting because you're not 100% guaranteed to just sort of roll through like you used to with such a fast process. You've got to work your way through a little bit more to get to the big dance. So it's going to be better for the gate, better for the fans, and frankly, your team is never really out of it, and that hopefully will have more fans going to those games, even when they've got a tougher record heading into fall. They've still got a shot. They could knock off somebody and get hot. So I think that's exciting. I know if the BC Lions are at the bottom, but say they're eighth and we make some player adjustments late in the year and something happens, we get hot. I'd be pretty excited to say I've still got a chance. I'm not toast and only six go in. Let's give this thing a try.
Is there any concern about the potential of 8 teams making the playoffs devaluing parts of the regular season? Maybe the middle section of the year not having as many fans attend because there's less on the line in those moments?
No, I don't think so. I think certain fans are going to think like that. But really, if you sit down and thoroughly think about it, positioning is still everything, right? You still
Mm.
want to position and have as many points as possible. So I don't think it changes anything. I think it helps. There's the haves and have-nots. It helps the have-nots a little bit have a chance. And I think that can be pretty exciting in a playoff game when you've got sort of David versus Goliath, and there could be some fun outcomes here that we've never seen before. Something new, and you know what? Why not?
Uh, Not every fan has been happy by the changes made by the commissioner. There's a lot of people who are upset about
Yeah.
the rule changes, about the playoff changes. We've seen big signage and tarps at BC Place at Lions games last year talking about these rule changes, protesting them. What do you say when you encounter fans like that who are reticent about these changes?
Give it a chance, guys. Every single league except the CFL has made changes, and we are no different. We're an entertainment business. We're a sports league, and you make adjustments. Like, I'm still mad at the NHL for them wearing dark uniforms at home. I still miss the home whites. I'm that old. I'm still mad about that. Am I going to do anything? Do I still watch NHL? Of course I do. So you know what? Yeah, we may not all agree with certain things, but if someone's gonna, throw their season's tickets in, I think that's pretty violent, and that's not, maybe great for the league. You might also grab some new fans that come in and say, "What is this noise all about? Let's come in and have a look, and let's make some adjustments." Again, no one's your three down nation will remain three down nation for a long time, and I think Luke Wilson put out a little check card on the changes compared to American, and there was 2 out of like 20. So
Mhm.
all these guys were Americanizing. I mean, enough, enough. We're not. We're making adjustments.
The other big topic as of late has been CFL expansion. As somebody who sits in on those board of governor meetings, how soon do you expect the CFL will reach 10 teams? And do you think we could go even further than that?
Y I can tell you that, whatever Stewart has said in the public is what I'll rely on, and I don't wanna overstep the commissioner's role here. There's some irons in the fire like there always has been. I think Stewart is a pretty quick study when it comes to, who's got the wherewithal or who doesn't and the location. I can tell you that, things are moving down the track with a certain
Mhm.
party, and let's see what happens. But I think if we get to 10, that would just be great for the time being. And I'm excited if that happens. If it doesn't, we just carry on. But we want to make sure that if a team sets up, they have the proper wherewithal, the deep pockets, the stadium arrangements. It's complicated to just get started. You need some pretty good girth, and that's I know Stu is going to vet that pretty hard so that we don't have any false starts.
As a businessman, is there a market that you find particularly intriguing for expansion or one that you would favor?
No, I think the obvious ones are, the Maritimes and Quebec. I think that's really the only areas that I think could fully support and would take one in without diluting, another market. I don't think there's room for two in BC here at all. The prairies are covered very well. Ontario's got three, and then Quebec's got one, and Atlantic's got zero. So I think those are the two obvious slots.
I'll end with this, Amar. You've expressed a lot of optimism about the league and its growth, the direction that Stuart Johnston is taking it in. But what is the biggest issue facing the league right now? Where is the area for growth that's needed? What still needs to be fixed?
Younger fans. And that's what I think Stewart is trying to drive with a lot of these changes, streaming platforms, ways to make it easy for kids to watch games. It's hard for kids to watch full NHL games, tennis matches, NFL games,
Mhm.
even they're flipping around and moving around. So the challenges aren't unique to the CFL for eyeballs, but there's a lot of senior fans here, and we want them to bring the kids. That's what I've been doing here in BC with my own family and kids and coaching and putting CFL logos all over the lower mainland and flag football, and we're doing a ton with flag, and that's really paying off, JC. Like, those people
Mhm.
wanna come to see the BC Lions, they wanna come to games, and that's what we're after. It is the old line, one fan at a time, but it's a different environment as far as, maintaining and retaining eyeballs today, so it's challenging. But if we do our job, we put a good, exciting product on the field all the time that's competitive like the CFL is, things will be just fine over time, and we can get more youth in the seats. That's our goal. The 20 somethings, the university kids coming. We try to make it fun. You see all the stuff we're doing out here. We've got a massive pool party coming in late July, which is going to be absolutely crazy. And that's going to have a lot of young people. So I got to give Dwayne and the team credit. They're doing a ton of innovation to draw those fans. And once they come in and see the CFL, guess what? It sells itself like it always has. It's such a great game.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this, Amar. It's been a wonderful conversation. You've been very forthcoming and insightful on all of these topics. So thank you from Three Down Nation and thank you from all the fans for doing
Th-
this.
th- Thanks for all the work you do, JC. And we'll talk to you soon, and go Lions.